All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutations to the Akim out there on the four corners of the earth, okay, who's pushing this truth and sincerity, you know. And Shalom and peace and blessings to, the women out there who's actually um, learning this truth, accepting the truth, and being humble, until the Lord comes into it, or the Lord brings them a husband, So get that out the way. Now this is a motivation, GMS motivation on institutional racism. Okay, and Slakia, one of the brothers posed this question as a lesson, to explain institutional racism, and we know going into the scriptures how Esau, his main objective is to demonize his brother, accuse his brother, become accuser of his brother, and um, let me, what? Let me get that scripture real quick. Salakia, I'm just going by the Spirit. 1 second. I know it's in Revelations. Hold on 1 second. Let me find it. If I'm not mistaken, it says accuser. Yep, Khan. Okay, this is Revelations 12 and 10. It says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of the anointed Yahushai, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night." Right? And so what Esau tries to do, Esau he puts the gangs, the liquor, the drugs in the community, and like a little kid, he acts like he didn't do it, and he goes to tell basically daddy on you, and that's what Esau has done, with the institutionalized racism, how they main objective was to separate themselves from Jake, even though they integrated us together. But to show how the devil was, even being integrated together, he still separated us from everyone by using institutionalized racism. So he accusing us, or they eating pork, or they're doing this or they doing that, because he got it out every fucking where, you know. But that's not necessarily institutional racism. That's going to accusing. He's accusing and trying to basically tell on Jake for the wickedness that he's committed, that we basically being in this Babylonian state of mind adopted. So that's his excuse to accuse us to the Lord. you know but jumping into the institutional racism, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. It says, is a form of racism expressed in the practice of social and political institutions. Institutional racism is also racism by individuals or informal social groups governed by behavioral norms that support racist thinking and foment active racism. Right. And I want to get into the prison industrial complex. Now, before that actually happened, I got an article where it states how It was a systematic plan. Here go bring it to where I brought that scripture about accusing. This plan for hip hop to become gangster rap. So promote violence, promote killing, promote robbing, promote stealing, promote using drugs. You know. So what that did was put in the world's eye view that the blacks and the Latins, okay, are thugs, criminals. They always have guns on them. You know, they're loudmouth. You know, they're basically the term ghetto comes to your mind when you think about hip hop or hip hop or gangster rap. So, and then on top of that, they have something called culture creation, which is the image. You know, and what that did was put an image on Jake. Now you have the rap and all of that, but then on top of that, you have that image for everyone to look at us and basically shame us. You know, we got everyone, all the other nations looking down upon us as if we're filth or as if we're nothing. You know, but that was used by Esau's tactics, man, through the gangster rap, you know, and through the prison systems, you know, the 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out, you know, like I said, brought forth by Bill Clinton. You know, so Esau did all of this basically wickedness to glorify himself in the light as if they're so innocent and pure. That's the institutional racism. You know, but let me finish it. It says it is reflected in disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal justice. See, all blacks are felons. You know, all Native Latinos are they've been to prison before. You know, they've been to jail. All blacks have been to jail before. You know, walking down the street. You know, it is always a police, a damn so-called cop to racially profile you. You know, just because you're a so-called black man in a nice car, you know, you got to be selling drugs, or where did you get this car from, or it has to be a rental. You know, those are institutional racism that the media projects to the world and push that view and that image out on Jake. By Jake, I'm talking about the blacks, Latins, and North American Indians, man. Okay. So it says governed by behavioral norms that support racist thinking and foment active racism. It is reflected in disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political power, and education. Which they put us in the ghettos in the hood, you know, and give us teachers from our own community who don't have a dollar or a dime and basically don't give a fuck. And you know, we don't get a so-called good education in this world because it all stems on the teachings of America, you know, to promote that institutional racism. You know, you see in the videos, I got a couple of clips and videos I'll be, you know, popping in and out. You know, they did a special on MTV in shit in the 90s or whatever. Well, a little bit after the 90s, but dealing with all the gangster and the hip hop rap. Because fuck yeah, promoting that got, you know, so-called blacks to drop out of school, you know, things of that nature, to become gang members. You know, so-called gang members and gang bangers and gangsters and all that shit. But it stemmed from Esau. Okay, among other things, whether so like it, whether implicitly or explicitly expressed, institutional racism occurs when a certain group is targeted and discriminated against based upon race. Institutional racism can go unnoticed as it is not always explicit and can be overlooked, you know? So I read what it meant. Let me get into this document. And this is the secret meeting, Shalaka, the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation, Shalaka. It says and this is a insider who won't disclose any names or won't even disclose the name on itself. It's just a poof, an article appeared about it, right? It's basically the scriptures Esau telling on themselves, But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. It says the meeting was held at a. I'm gonna skip down. Let me just get right to the points of it. It says the meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearance, they didn't seem to be in our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued this intrigued Salakia. I'm not the best goddamn reader in the world, but yeah. And in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on the matter and consequences, which stated the violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason of such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Okay? Oh, fuck, man. Goddamn Satan. It says, quickly after the meeting began, one of the industry colleagues thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his background information, his personal background. Now remember, this happened in 1991. Okay? Before the prison industrial complex with with Bill Clinton. Okay? Before that hardcore hip hop gangster rap came out. So you got to be mindful of that. It says, I think that he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable at the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into building of privately owned prisons, and that our position of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. So basically, they're going to use this gangster rap hip hop, you know, to culture create Jake. Okay, to culture create Jake. So when Jake, who's not in the know, who thinking, no, this hip hop rap and shooting and killing and game banging is cool, they gonna actually do this shit. That's the manipulation of the devil to force that wickedness upon us. You know, this is one of the things how Esau used this whole gangster hip hop rap stuff to basically imprison and to put us in prison. You know, even though Jake is wicked as hell and doing, things, but Esau set up these plans and plots to get Jake. Okay? And I'm gonna read that in Wisdom of Solomon, man, the second chapter. You know, Esau's whole life being is to basically kill us off, or shame us, defame us, and accuse us to the Father. You know, it says man, they kind of skipping and fucking it up. See, it's just Satan. That's cool. I'm gonna get to where I was left off at though. It says the subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of a privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry, right, their position of influence, coach creation, in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At the time, I didn't know what a private prison was, and that's what Clinton was doing. But I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told we were. Slacky, I gotta find a point because it's steady. Fucking Satan, bitch asshole ass nigga. Slovakia. Here you go. Right here. It says, we were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. So this is money to be made. Okay? The more inmates, the more money the government will pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares, stocks, and bonds. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Right. So to promote that how Jake to promote how Jake is a bunch of all Israelites or Black Lives Native Americans are gang members and involved in shootings, and you never been in a drive by, and shit like that, based off of these movies and based off of the hip hop industry world, man. They're promoting that image to create that it was to create uh, uh, stereotypes. So to create racism. Oh, lock your doors every time a black man come past you. Hold your purse whenever a black man or woman walking past you. You know. But these fucking devils stole up planet Earth. You know. So Esau used these different tactics, man, to keep us in this negative, evil light, man. And that's one of the things that they did. We read in Wisdom of Solomon, 5th chapter, man, how they didn't think that we was gonna rise up because of the things that they did. You know, it said you could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My days was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" And it was Esau. At this point, things became chaotic. Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted out and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun and we all backed off. They separated from the crowd, and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague, who had opened the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking about this publicly or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why he was involved with something this corrupt, and he replied that it was bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested, and as he walked back into the house, I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Remember, you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove off. Now, I'm gonna put the link in. So like yeah, it was some more points that I wanted to go over. Okay, I'm gonna jump to this real quick. It says, as months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it, but even I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics and harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airways. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the idea presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order has been given to all majority label executives. Right, which is true. You know, they helped. They helped racially profile Jake over here in America. You know, only a few months had passed. Okay, I read that. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on the assembly line. Everyone bought into it. Consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music. I spoke to a few of my peers in the industry to get their opinion on the new trend, but was told repeatedly that it was all about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. So that was something that was institutional racism. It was actually systematically programmed and portrayed, for Jake to be like that. And what this said, I don't write this shit. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. Who was the minorities? Jake. Blacks, and Native Americans, man. You know? And now to further that, we got Bill Clinton, you know, because he signed the omnibus crime bill. Okay, I'm probably saying that word wrong. I know I read. Oh, here it is. Omnibus crime bill. You know. So I'm gonna hold off on this article. Let me read the scripture real quick. Okay. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2. And I'm gonna start from 6, right? Just to show the mind of Esau. Esau is the devil, man. He'll do any and everything to try to oppress Jake, man. He saw it carefully with tears, man. The only thing they wanted to do was to kill us off and have us kill each other, But this is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 6. It says, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, which is wealth, the money, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. It says, let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ornaments, and let no flower of the spring pass by. Um, This is talking about the joy and the highlight that Esau has today, but I'm going to skip past that. Verse 10, it says, let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Now this is Esau says, let us oppress the poor, righteous man. And how do they go about oppressing Jake? They go about oppressing Jake by putting every fucking precinct in the hood, in the so-called hood, the ghettos, having the police officers surrounding the neighborhoods, to watch over us. That's oppression. Even driving and having a so-called police officer in the back of you that's oppression. You know, it says, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age." Right? They don't give a damn who you are, how old you are. And history proved that, and even today, 2006, 2017 has proved that these damn devils will do anything and everything to kill. You know, it says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So let our strength be the law of justice. All of these laws that they've been passing against, secretly they've been against Jake. You know, the bill, the crime bill act. I'm gonna read it, but that crime bill act, that was against Jake, man. That was to oppress Jake. That was a law in the books to come down on Jake, man. To keep Jake in the prison system. You know, because we already got the culture creation. We already got uh, 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 um, the gangster rap medium affecting us. Okay, so once that affecting us, Jake is a lost sheep, man. They follow everything, so they're gonna follow the accent, even though they may not be a criminal. You know, they might not be in the gangs and this and that. They probably just wearing the clothes and listening to the music, and boom, you are that's that racial profiling right there. You know, but this is everything that Esau has done to Jake throughout the years. You know, it says, for that which is feeble is found by nothing worth. It says, verse 12, therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous. See, they waiting for us to fuck up so they can jump on us. You know, they just waiting. You know, they got the police, the leopards, according to the scriptures in Jeremiah, they got the leopards everywhere, you know, plotting, just waiting for Jake to do something, you know, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. Right, the righteous is contrary to the wicked. This is the mind of Esau. Esau knows these things, so they use everything in their power, especially their laws, their wicked laws. When you go into Micah, the 2nd chapter, it tells you. Okay, and I'm gonna get there, but let me read this real quick. This is Daniel 8:25. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Right. And we know the history of this is talking about Antiochus, but you got to remember, in time Antiochus, before Antiochus took on the scene, those four generals under Alexander the Great, wickedness erupted in the land until this day. So Antiochus took a part of that and magnified it. The same characteristics of Esau, of their how do you say it, grandchildren, you know. And through his policy, his laws, he shall cause craft to prosper. Let's see what the word craft means. Craft. Okay. It says Well, here we go. Treachery, deceit, in the sense of deceiving, fraud, craft, deceit, deceitful, deceitfully, false, guile, subtlety, treachery, fiend. Okay? And basically that's what Esau has done with his laws, going back to institutional racism. He set up these certain laws just to attack Jake, so Jake can be profiled, you know. But all that's coming to an end, just showing that this is what we've been through being over here in Babylon, man. It ain't nothing good. This is what we've been through. We've been through hell with this devil, you know. Sundown time, sundown times, where Jay couldn't go into certain neighborhoods or they'd be killed or lynched, you know, because really Esau is the prejudice and the racist, you know. Now, let me further with this. It says, therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy the transgressions of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. That's Esau. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even the behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that power is his father, the Most High is his father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies, which we are going to be delivered. Jake is going to be delivered from the hands of the enemies, which is the so-called white man, the devil. Okay, so that's it on that. He caused craft to prosper. This is there's another scripture I had. Yeah, Daniel 7:25. Prison. I'm gonna go to that, but let me read a little bit on this now. It says Bill Clinton was incredibly destructive for black people. It says, I have refrained from writing this post for almost 2 years, but I cannot hold back any longer. Bill Clinton is without a doubt my least favorite president of the last 40 years. You read that correctly. But what about Ronald Reagan, you might ask? What about George W. Bush, you might protest? Well, for me, the truth is that I expect Republicans to be detrimental to people of color prospects. They do not pretend to be interested in our survival. True. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, has actively tried to ingratiate himself to black people by appropriating black culture, meaning mimicking, Think back to his appearance on Arsenio Hall playing the sax. Think back to his post-presidency move to Harlem to locate his Clinton Foundation office there. So these are all different little, the scripture tell you, never trust thine enemy. And this devil came in as if he was one of us. He came in, I'm here for you, Which, basically what I just read in this scripture, man. Basically what I just read in this scripture. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. He came in basically like Superman to Jake. He was gonna fix everything, he was gonna help all the blacks, and this and that, right? It's showing it and reading it right now how he's trying to infiltrate, he's trying to appease and appear that he loved us, that he loved the blacks. But he signed this bill, man. So, okay, let's keep reading. It says, think back to his post-presidency move to Harlem to locate his Clinton Foundation office there. Think back to the fact that we are instantly told that Bill Clinton was the first black president. What a massive insult. People who speak this nonsense say it with irony. It says, there are so many ways that the Clinton presidency was toxic to black people, in particular, and people of color in general. I will periodically highlight some of his greatest hits against black people in the coming weeks. Today, I want to focus on the piece of the legislation that the U.S. Congress passed in 1994, which this was supposed to be in 1991. Okay, so it will make perfect sense. They already had the idea on how they're gonna shape the culture of blacks, which is Jake's, and then for it to get bad, for them to try to implement this fucking law, for the private industrial complex, the prisons, to make money off of Jake being in prison, which this devil, Bill Clinton, is the one who funded and got the bill across, man. You know, it says today I want to focus on the piece of legislation that the U.S. Congress passed in 1994, which is still rever- rever- reverberating in 2012. The 1994 Omnibus Crime Bill, spearheaded by Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, because Joe Biden is a fucking devil and a pedophile. Okay, you watch the videos about the Pizzagate, you will know well about Joe Biden. It says cost $30 billion and helped to accelerate the growth of the prison industrial complex in ways that we are only just beginning to understand. The bill's provisions included. So remember what I read in this, that that plan was to privatize the prisons so they can be able to, when it's how do you say it, when it's publicized as far as these prisons. What they can do is the shareholders can make a profit off of that through stocks and bonds, because the prisons is on the stock market. You have how you say it, a dollar sign on your head when you walk into prison, man. You know that's why how they get Jake is, you commit a little crime, they'll give you a few months, let you out. You commit it again, let you out. They get money from you from doing that, but they know you're gonna be back. You know, just the way the world, how this demonic ass system is, they know that sooner or later you're gonna come back. So they're gonna keep making that money off you. It's all a racket scheme. But let's get into the things that he did. Okay, this is some of the things. Okay, it says 10.8 billion in federal matching funds to local governments to hire 100,000 new police officers over 5 years. Now let's read the description. This is Jeremiah 5:6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. That's Esau's sister. That's the pit. Okay, that's them lurking and basically oppressing our livelihood. A leper shall watch over their cities. That's right now. That's the police force, man, watching over the cities. There was all these the precincts, that they got in the hoods. Why do they have prisons or jails and things of that nature dead smack in the black community? You know, You go to Chicago, they all in the hoods, man. Used to live on what was it, 70th and Union. They had a police station 4 blocks away from the crib. Okay, and this is right in you know what I'm saying, the inner city, because the scriptures have to be fulfilled though. A leper shall watch over their cities. Now, the leper, we know that's the police force, man. Look what happened. It says 10.8 billion in federal matching funds to local governments to hire 100,000 new police officers over 5 years, man. And you think Jake ain't being oppressed, man, from that shit? Day in and day out, that the racial profiling, you know? And you know, I can't Jake, who has been racially profiled, you know, they know exactly the feeling when the damn when them damn demonic lights is behind you, you know? Them damn demonic red, white, and blue lights is shining, and you know what I'm saying, in your mirror, you know. And first thing Jake said, like, fuck, like, you know, what do they want? You know, that's that oppression that they put on us, man. We ain't even did shit. No, we ain't did nothing. We probably just got out the crib and was going to the store. Whoop whoop, police come behind us, and we all, you know, like, you know, you all mad and shit, like, you know, you finna go to jail, but you ain't do shit. that's because that's because this scripture right here, man. This damn devil, he said, "Let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age." This is Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. You know, it says, 10 billion for the construction of new federal prisons, an expansion of the number of federal crimes to which the death penalty applied from 2 to 58. The bill also eliminated an existing statute that prohibited the execution of mentally incapacitated defendants. It says a 3-strike proposal that mandated life sentences for anyone convicted of 3 violent felonies. Like I said, you would do a little crime, they let you out. By the way the system is set up and how Jake is so oppressed in the neighborhoods and there's no way out, you know, Jake's still gonna go back to selling drugs or so-called game banging and this and that, the thing that they've seen that they can get rich or die trying type of mentality, type of attitude. So Jake go try to live that lifestyle, man. And guess what? Esau put that 3 strikes you out, you know. And this is to something that racially profiled Jake, man. And then I can't think of where it said in the scripture. I can't think of where it's in the scriptures though. It says the beautiful city. We was that beautiful city or something like that. And now all the other nations is looking down upon us. You know, if I can find it, Lord willing, I can be able to find it. I'll post it up. But if any brothers know exactly what I'm talking about, you can post it up for me if I don't find it. Well, basically, yeah, how we fell so far down, man, and all the other nations is looking at us in this light, man, being accused of our brother because he set up the systems of this shit, man. He set up this stuff, man. I'm gonna put this article as well. I just want to read a little bit. I'm gonna put this article in the description box as well. Um, let's see here. Clinton crime bill. Why is it controversial? And the reason I'm reading, going over the crime bills is because Esau put this in after the fact that they exposed us to the gangster rap and all this media, the stuff that, you know, can be appeared on the media outlet, so Jake can view it, you know. And Esau used that to bring in the prison systems, man. You know, he's fucking 2 devils right here, you know. But with that, I did enough rambling and going on. It was a scripture that I said I wanted to get. Didn't want to forget. That's the spirit. Yeah, they could put 10 billion 10.8 billion, right? For cops and things of that nature, man. This scripture, when it says the power of their hand, that's true, man, because they can make it happen. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. See? They practice, And then to sell out Jakes, man, who was involved in that gangster rap bullshit, you know, they took part of the killings and the killings of their own people, because Jake wanted to sell out for that dollar. And how did they practice it? The videos, the TV, the movies, BET, MTV, you know. MTV first wasn't dealing with all of that gangster rap and hip hop until they had to switch everything over. When they switched MTV over, they switched BET and made BET and how it is now today, man. Which I haven't even watched BET shit in about 5 years, to be honest. But I know how the world is waxing worse and worse. I know that it has to be worse and worse. It says they practice it because it is in their power of their hand. And they covet fields and they take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's this fucking devil, man. Oppression, through this. This right here, through the education systems and the criminal justice system and employment and work, first fired, last hired, things like that, is because it was a systematic plan from the devil, which is Esau, okay, to get the world to view us as nothing. And Jake went with it, being the sheep that they are, followed it, and now we here now today, man. Jake is bugged the fuck out, But Esau, started this wickedness, And the Lord is going to pay him back, man, soon. Because we in a time of the end right now, So yeah, I just want to go over a little bit on this institutional racism, how this secret meeting basically shaped today's society, even till today. Even though it's not gangster hip hop rap, they switched it to another level, feminist level. For ours, we won't fight back now, But they're still putting that racial profile on Jake, man. So with that, hey, call halam yabashim al shai, dawan to the Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the Apostle Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there on the four corners of Christian's crew. And shalom to the sisters who's actually listening and humbly listening and respecting and acknowledging who are the real men of the Lord, man. So with that, hey, shalom.